Opens the 2024 legislative session on January 3rd, but that doesn't mean lawmakers are sitting by idly.
Tomorrow, there'll be at least 5 committee discussions about possible legislation. And our Brent Weber has more on one that could bring some bright lights to the Cornhusker State.
Over the years, there have been several failed attempts to legislate significant tax incentives for the entertainment industry. That was before the success of Atlanta, Oklahoma City, of course, the state of Montana, enticing Hollywood to bring the storytelling east, which is exactly what one of Nebraska's most successful actors intends to do.
I'm a Nebraskan. The sustainability of what I've been coming back here to do all these years, it's here, man. We're here. We have the talent. We just have to give them a reason to stay here. Our future workforce are the young people here. These young people need a reason to stay. The film industry is that reason.
Creighton prep product Randy J. Goodwin has quite the track record as an actor, but wants to leave the hustle and bustle of Hollywood behind and come home. His local business interests already include Facility 88 Tactical, but Goodwin's bigger plans are to build a film production studio in the Metro. Thursday, he and an industry team will be in Lincoln pitching tax incentive legislation for the film industry.
1 year of Yellowstone in Montana, they brought in $70 million of revenue for the state of Montana and created 562 permanent jobs. So just think of not just one show in Nebraska. Think of 5 shows going on in Nebraska, 5 TV series with those numbers attached to it. We're bringing in a ridiculous amount of revenue for the state of Nebraska. We're drawing famous Nebraskans back, like Hillary Swank. I mean, I'm telling you, every time somebody comes here, they fall in love with it.
A UNL grad and Air Force veteran. Goodwin's acting resume is a long one. You may have seen him in everything from Picard, NCIS, The Rookie, and Grey's Anatomy, and in films like American History X. But if he can help get this legislation passed and help build the industry here, he'll have reached a different level of stardom. And yes, Aaron, he does still have a little extra time on his hands right now as a member of the Striking Actors Union.
Brent, thank you.